August 1947, India gained independence after 200 years of British rule. What followed was one of the largest and bloodiest migrations in history. An estimated 1 million people lost their lives. Hello everyone, my name is Apurva Bhargav. I'm a student of class 12th F. My history project is titled A Study of Indo-Pak Partition Through Fiction, Poetry and Films. What I've done in this project is that I've gone through many books, I have read several research papers, I have seen many movies, I've seen many films, I have read many poetries, and I've tried to analyze them. I've tried to extract the truth from them, I've tried to extract the facts from them, I have tried to present history through them. Now, if we talk about fiction and we talk about Indo-Pak partition, we see the recurrent themes of two brothers getting lost in a mela and then coming back together. We see families getting broken apart and then reuniting after several years. We see two lovers getting separated. Now, the question is, can we just reduce and relegate these love stories as mere love stories or other two lovers getting separated? Actually, the answer is no, we cannot, because this is the reality of partition. Even though these are mere works of fiction, they gave us an insight into what exactly happened and what people went through during that time, where migrants were getting killed, or where people faced so much violence, women were objected to sexual offenses. So we see this kind of violence everywhere during the partition period. So, in this project, I have tried to explain the importance of cinema. I've tried to explain the importance of these works of fiction in contributing to partition literature as well as presenting history. And I've also tried to explain the social phenomenon of partition, how it impacted people, how it impacted women specifically, because we do not talk about this enough. All we do is see partition as a political phenomenon, but I've tried to present the Indo-Pak partition in a social light. This is a short video about my topic, and I hope you like it. Before British colonization, the Indian subcontinent was a patchwork of regional kingdoms known as princely states populated by Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, Christians, Parsis, and Jews. Each princely state had its own traditions, caste backgrounds, and leadership. Indian political leaders had differing views on what an independent India should look like. Mohandas Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru represented the Hindu majority and wanted one united India. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who led the Muslim minority, thought the rifts created by colonization were too deep to repair. Jinnah argued for a two-nation division where Muslims would have a homeland called Pakistan.
मिस्टर गांधी का जो विचार है वह हमसे अलग है, बुनियादी तौर पर अलग है.
Following riots in 1946 and 1947, the British expedited their retreat, planning Indian independence behind closed doors. In June 1947, the British Viceroy announced that India would gain independence by August and be partitioned into Hindu India and Muslim Pakistan, but gave little explanation of how exactly this would happen. Using outdated maps, inaccurate census numbers, and minimal knowledge of the land, in a mere 5 weeks, the Boundary Committee drew a border dividing three provinces under direct British rule: Bengal, Punjab, and Assam.
How power was to be transferred from British to Indian hands. With reservations, of course, the plan has had a good reception. From Nehru for the Hindus, from Jinnah for the Muslims, and from Sardar Baldev Singh for the Sikhs.
कोई ऐसा नहीं जो भारत का बंटवारा चाहता हो. मेरा दिल भी बहुत भारी है, लेकिन चॉइस क्या है? एक बंटवारा या बहुत सारे बंटवारे? We must face facts. भावनाओं में नहीं बह सकते.
The border took into account where Hindus and Muslims were majorities, but also factors like location and population percentages. So, if a Hindu majority area bordered another Hindu majority area, it would be included in India. But if a Hindu majority area bordered Muslim majority areas, it might become part of Pakistan. Princely states on the border had to choose which of the new nations to join, losing their sovereignty in the process. While the boundary committee worked on the new map, Hindus and Muslims began moving to areas where they thought they would be a part of the religious majority, but they couldn't be sure. Families divided themselves. Fearing sexual violence, parents sent young daughters and wives to regions they perceived to be safe. The new map wasn't revealed until August 17, 1947, 2 days after independence. The provinces of Punjab and Bengal became the geographically separated East and West Pakistan. The rest became Hindu majority India. In a period of 2 years, millions of Hindus and Sikhs living in Pakistan left for India, while Muslims living in India fled villages where their families had lived for centuries. The cities of Lahore, Delhi, Calcutta, Dhaka, and Karachi emptied of old residents and filled with refugees. In the power vacuum British forces left behind, radicalized militias and local groups massacred migrants. Much of the violence occurred in Punjab, and women bore the brunt of it, suffering rape and mutilation. Around 100,000 women were kidnapped and forced to marry their captors. The problems created by partition went far beyond this immediate deadly aftermath. Many families who made temporary moves became permanently displaced, and borders continue to be disputed. More than 70 years later, the legacies of partition remain clear in the subcontinent, in its new political formations, and in the memories of divided families.